Good evening, folks. I'm going to take you back to a game that we're very proud of at Carnforth. Going back to the 12th of May 2019. We were offered the Lancashire women's first 11 game, 50 over game against Nottinghamshire on that Sunday. And it was the week before our Lancashire Cup day against against Lancaster, so we were a little bit unsure about it, but they asked us if we could host it. They were confident that we'd be able to do it, and so we accepted it. And all of this was mainly run through Peter Robinson again. He's an absolute legend, got a lot of connections in Lancashire, and who and what he doesn't know isn't worth knowing, to be fair. So they said yes to this game, and the Lancashire and Nottinghamshire ladies were playing, and it was, I think, 11 o'clock start. And so we were down at the ground, myself and the chairman Brendan in our suits at like 9 o'clock, 9:30, making sure everything was ready. Sort of tea and biscuits on arrival, and then an upscaled cricket tea really by Julie and her team, Julie, our bar manager, and her team. When the players started to arrive, we had everything sectioned off, and the Lancashire lot arrived first, and then the Nottinghamshire players came later. There were several internationals on show. I will post a scorecard underneath this video. Atika, we've talked about before, he was in charge of the Lancashire ladies team. Very, very capable coach, and that was that. So Lancashire won the toss and elected to bat, and it's 50 overs. They made a really good fist of things. They, in their 50 overs, had a really good start. Eve Jones and Emma Lamb started well. Georgie Boyce settled things down, hit some boundaries. Then Ellie Threlkall hit the score of the day, really. She got 72 off 70 balls. She batted really well. Kate Cross provided 30 odd runs at a really good pace, and Lancashire finished on 241 for 6, which it's a little bit of an underachievement at Carnforth on that kind of wicket with the ground that we have, because it's quite a small ground. And I will say that I was a little bit nervous about the score that they got. In any case, the Nottinghamshire team came into bat, and they got off to a decent start. Sophie Odedra got 67, she's the captain, but then everyone else just chipped in, and there were 10s and 20s in the middle order. In the end up, they finished on 195 for 9, and they were 46 runs short of Lancashire. So it did fizzle out a bit. But my main memories of the day was, firstly, how well mannered both teams were, how pleased they were to play at a nicely manicured ground that we have, and the facilities that we have. We're obviously not used to handling these big games, but we did our best, and everyone was very appreciative. There's a very big crowd, mostly the players' families, and they all set up around the ground, and it was very nice. When it was at tea time, we saw something that we don't normally see, and that was after tea, after they'd all finished, all of the players individually bringing the plates back to the kitchen and saying thank you to the kitchen staff, which is really, really welcome. It was a massive thing that they were so appreciative, and it just shows that when you're in the sort of regimented system of playing for clubs, and you go through the system over a long period of time, how that manners are drilled into you and maintained, and that was lovely to see. It really was. So Lancashire won by 46 runs, and lots of international players on show. A really good day. We got congratulated. No doubt we'll have future games. I think in 2020 we were scheduled to have another game. where Lancashire were going to be the host, but obviously that didn't happen because of the pandemic. Just a couple of things I'd draw your attention to that, and I'm going to share this on video on Twitter to the people concerned so that they see it and they can verify it. So during the Lancashire innings, Alex Hartley, the England international, she didn't bat. She was down in the order, I think, next to come in perhaps, but Lancashire only had 6 wickets down. So I was chatting to her. I had my suit on and my club tie, and she collared me in the doorway of the pavilion, just looking out onto the field. And we just had a little bit of a chat because she knew I was an official. And I said, when you go out to bowl, because she's a left-hand spinner, I know that, which end do you fancy? And she said, well, I don't know. What do you reckon? And I said, well, what you need to do when you're playing at Carnforth, if you're a spinner, what you need to do is you need to bowl from the far end. Now, the far end's called the 1 pint wall end, which is, it's named after me really, quite loosely, because I'm rubbish at drinking. But so I said to her, basically, you need to bowl at the far end, you get far much more bounce. And also the boundary over to the scorecard, over towards the scoreboard, is much bigger. So you should be all right. So pros tend to bowl at the far end. And so she said, right, okay, I'll do that. And then she returned figures of 10 overs, 3 for 23. So I guess that was right. But just before tea time, the players all came off the field and they were getting the boots off in the dressing rooms and things. And another character appeared from the Nottinghamshire dressing room and tried to sidle her way over to the table to get first dibs on teas. And they weren't really ready. They hadn't really had the covers taken off and everything. And that was Lucy Hyam. And I had to basically tell her off from a distance, pointing my finger at her. Oi, Hyam, you need to leave that food alone. I know you're hungry, but you need to leave that alone and wait for everybody else. She was quite a cheeky little character. And I think still playing for Nottinghamshire now. All taken in very good humour. It was meant in good humour. And I think we all had a fun day. Those are my memories of Lancashire women versus Nottinghamshire women's 50 overs match at Carnforth in May 2019. Hope you've enjoyed listening. Once again, put a comment below and I'll post this to Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening, guys.